Yo, we back. Another episode of Nobody Listens. Because guess what? Everybody hears shit, but ain't nobody listening. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited for today's episode. I got a real good close friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. We met a few years ago. I was teaching a class somewhere, and then all of a sudden, I look up and I get a message on Instagram. Yeah, you heard me. He slid in my DMs. And when he slid in my DMs, I was like, man, who is this guy? And then he went down the list of telling me where he met me at before and all of that stuff. And it was New Year's Day, matter of fact. And so, answered the DM, we started talking. He was talking my language. That's business. So we was talking, conversating, and then I just said, bro, call me. And he called me. And then all of a sudden, boom, we became instant friends, instant brothers, and we've been working together ever since. And so his story is unique. His story is one that I think is worthy of sharing, even though everybody's story is worthy of sharing. But when it comes to me, I like to make sure that the stories that I'm talking about and the people that I'm dealing with is genuine, because it makes the story more relevant and more valid for them to be able to shed light on certain situations. So today, I got my dog. My brother from another mother, Vinny De Leon, is chilling with me today. So yeah, everybody say hello to Vinny. Let's give Vinny a little clap in, you know what I mean? What up, Vin?
What's up, John? That's a good introduction. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll send you my bill later. Don't worry about it.
Vice versa.
No. What's up, big dog?
Man, I'm chilling. Thank
chilling?
you, man. I appreciate you having me on, and this is cool, man. It's going to be good.
I've been listening to you a lot, bro. So I thought it was only relevant that we bring you to the Nobody Listen podcast and let everybody else listen to you a little bit.
It's cool, man. Congratulations on it. It's nice. I like it in here. It's just nice.
Started from the bottom now. Yeah.
This is something cool. Well, it started with an idea with you, and I remember that idea, and I remember just bouncing ideas back and forth, off each other and back and forth, and for it to actually be in fruition now it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see just time, evolution too. Like as it grows and as I continue to grow as a person, the podcast is only gonna get better. But the vision started. I think sometimes people misunderstand vision. The vision started years ago for what we sitting in right now.
Right. Yeah. No. Like I said, whenever you had came to the shop. That was in 2020.
Yeah.
2020. And I remember we recorded sitting right there in the front of the shop in my barbershop, and barbershop was empty. Yeah. There was nothing, and we just started bouncing off, and kind of like what we're doing now. And then you had mentioned that you wanted to grow this into what it is. But going to your point, time, what is this, 3 years later?
Yeah.
And
almost
four, yeah. And here it is. So, yeah, it definitely takes a lot of time, and it's like you said, a lot of people don't want to wait. A lot of people, we've been tricked into thinking that good things happen overnight. And that is so far from the truth.
Can you look into your camera and let them know that it does not happen?
Nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens overnight. We had in my life, nothing happened overnight. But to that point, a lot of it was my decisions. You know what I mean? Of not wanting to wait. And so whenever I felt like, okay, now's the time to do it. And every time I made a jump, just smacked the wall. You know what I mean? And so, but no, nothing happens overnight. So this is cool.
You know what didn't happen overnight, man?
What's that?
So 2 years ago, right? You used to always call me and ask me to show you a picture of Dave Ramsey teeth. And right now, I'm over here looking, and dog, I'm like, my dog really got Dave Ramsey's smile.
Man, it didn't happen overnight.
It didn't happen overnight, but he definitely got that Dave Ramsey smile.
Oh, man, it put a lot of work in it. I'm still working on it. Yeah, I would always sit there. I would read Dave Ramsey's books, and I would always send you that screenshot. Like, one day, I'm gonna have me a Dave Ramsey smile. And it just happened a couple of months ago, actually.
Well, damn it, you got that Dave Ramsey. Look, everybody, you see his teeth?
I'm trying.
Working that Dave Ramsey.
I got to do some more work, but
you got to do some more work.
Yeah, man. Shoot, I messed up my mouth. I messed up my mouth a long time ago, man, and that's part of that's part of the story with it. You know what I mean? But no, it was, I beat my body up, man. I beat my body up, and as a part of that, my teeth were starting to get. Or it's crazy we're talking about my teeth
He had
right now.
cheek lip.
It's crazy we're talking about my teeth right now.
Yeah,
Who would
I
ever
had to,
talk?
bro. I had to.
I appreciate it. Thanks,
Because you always would call me and be like, hey, show me that Dave Ramsey.
So
And so, yeah. But now, more importantly, bro, like, tell us a little bit about your story. Tell the listeners a little bit about your story because it is definitely a unique one. And you definitely have the trials and tribulations of most people.
I had yeah, everybody's story is unique. Everybody has something to share. I'm just grateful that my life has reached a point where I'm willing to share it and able to share it. I grew up in Texas, Bay City, Texas, and
I'm a Baytown legend.
yeah, that. What is it, the Mexican OT?
Yeah.
Mexican OT, where he's out of, and grew up there, and I was raised in Freeport, and in Freeport, we're right on the coast of Texas. I mean, we call it the water, and because it's literally concrete, where the concrete meets the water is what we would say. And so we grew up there, and not really knowing, John, I didn't really understand my surroundings and where I was at. I was a kid, you know what I mean? So my parents are pastors, my grandparents are pastors, my aunts and uncles were in church and music. I played the drums since I was 8 years old. We were just going through life. I didn't really understand what was what as a child until I started to really. As I got older, I was just looking at my surroundings and what was what, and then I started to realize, what it is that I wanted to do and where I wanted to go, where I thought was good for me at that point. So we were in this small town, and it was small town living, and it was drama. It was full of, as an adult now, I look back and I see what that town was, but. As a kid, you would just ride around in your bikes. You would go on the dirt trails and make holes in the dirt, and we would steal tools from my buddy's dad's garage, and we had a little red. I remember clear. It was like one of those little red wagons, the wheel wagons. It was written on the side, and anyway, we would just dig holes, man, and we would just go around and try to do whatever we could, And the whole time I was in church as well, So mom and dad always gave me good principles, and I appreciated it for what it is and what it was, So as I started to get older, John, I really got to a point where I was like, we were in church all the time. And then on my mom's side, it was always church. On my dad's side, they were like partiers.
I could definitely see that. Pop, shout out to you, but
You'll see the differences, you know what I mean? And so, I guess it's true when they say opposites attract, you know what I mean? And so, anyway, so Dad, not that he didn't want us around his family, he just didn't want us to take the route of what he had been through, you know what I mean? So, at the age of 14, I started to realize, like, dude, I think I'm missing out on something. I felt like I was missing out on something.
Bro, what the hell was you feeling at 14 that you was missing out?
So, okay, so I'm glad you said that because at 8 years old, I started to work. You know what I mean? 8 years old, I remember my aunt, she had a polishing business. And so we would go to Houston again, I didn't realize our financial situation until I got older, but we would go to Houston and my dad would go and work with her because my dad blew out his back at an early age because his father, my grandpa, died at the age of 32.
So, Vinny, did you just say your dad got his back blown?
Yeah, I did say that. I did say that. It's not what it sounds like, I promise you.
Okay, I'm just on record asking certain questions because I'm hearing things.
Let's edit that part. Sorry, Dad. I didn't mean that. Dad, look at me. I didn't mean that. So, but Dad started to work at an early age. When my grandfather passed, he left 10 children behind.
Wow.
So Dad had to take on that load, and then my grandmother was working 3 jobs. And so Dad hurt his back early, and then that's, I guess, where looking back, that's where the struggle really started. So at 8 years old, I remember I went and I would start sanding tables, kind of similar to this. It was a wood table. Never forget it. We were on her patio, and I was literally like at it all day long, sanding the table. And that's whenever I remember started to work. So as my teenage years, I started to, my cousin's husband at that time had a tire shop. And I would go to the intermediate, and after school, I would go walk to his tire shop, and I would stay there all night. And we would paint the tires, change tires, stock the tires, rotate tires. And so it was cool for me because going home, Mom and Dad would always do the best that they could for us, but I remember going home and the water wouldn't be on, the lights would be off. We didn't have air conditioning, we didn't have food, we didn't have, it was a struggle, man. And to this, well, I don't want to say to this day, I think I'm finally getting over that point. But like, you couldn't never get me in a pool, you couldn't get me in stuff because I remember we would have to fill up the tub with water. And the neighbors, I don't know Spanish, right?
What?
I look like this. I do not know Spanish. You know what I mean?
Do you hear him? He's saying he do not know Spanish.
I don't know Spanish. They never. Mom and Dad. I always say Mom and Dad talked about us in Spanish. They never talked to us in Spanish. you know what I mean?
Okay, so look. Do you know what a chancla is?
Yes, I do know that. I used to get hit with those things.
Okay, bet.
Yeah,
so you know Spanish.
I know enough.
You know the right ones.
When I heard that word, I would duck. So we had the neighbors knew Spanish, we didn't. And I remember I went and asked the neighbor if we could borrow some water to fill up our tubs so we can shower. So I'm the baby of the family. Yeah, obviously Dad, Mom, and then I have two older sisters, Renee and Natalie, and then I'm the baby. So we filled up the tub, and we would bathe in that order. It would be Mom and Dad, and then it would be the girls, my sisters, and then myself. So after like 3-4 days of that in the heat, you know what I mean? And in the summers, Texas summers were brutal. You would go and you would literally, like, I remember to this day, man, you would see like a film of just like dirt, you know what I mean? So I was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to jump in the pool where other people were in there. I just didn't want to do that, you know what I mean? and it was like, nah, I didn't want nothing to do with it. It was dirty. It was gross.
So, like, I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Sure.
Like, so was your neighbors' situations kind of similar to your families? Like, was it the area to where it was like, nowadays you hear people say that you don't know that you're broke or you're not financially stable or not being provided for,
sure,
because of everybody else around you is that way. Do you feel like that's what it was for you growing up as well, or it was just the situation your family was in?
I think it was a little bit of both. So in Freeport, the refineries are really big, Dow Chemical. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't work for the refineries, you really weren't making money. That's just what it was. Well, so since Dad wasn't able to work,
he got his back blown.
God, I can't even get. I was gonna say something else. I can't even say that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So he couldn't work. Dad couldn't work. So, but the neighbors they were able to because they were in the refineries. Mm-hmm. So their situation was a little better than ours.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And so Mom never really worked either. So when Dad was able to work, he bought the house. So that's why we were able to have the house that we had. When he was working until he had messed up his back, he was able to.
Now he messed up his back.
Now he messed up an injury.
An injury.
How about that one?
There it is.
That's better?
Better.
I should have came up with that word a long time ago.
Yeah, because
you the one that messed that up for me.
No, I just asked you a question.
Stop.
Charlie.
See that Mexican?
That's why I had to hit you back, Charlie.
Well, whatever. So anyway, he...
Don't be mad at me.
He had... their situations were different.
Bet.
It was a little different. So by nature, I just kind of grew into a role of providing.
Yeah.
So, fast forward, we had I was in a tire shop, and then I think you had to be 16 to work at that time. At 15, I lied to the grocery store and told them I was 16. but I was really 15. And I started to work in a grocery store. And the reason I went to the grocery store is because my my buddy was the manager there. He got a job and he became the manager. So I was like, dude, plug me in. Let me get a job. Mm-hmm. So he plugged me in. I told everybody I was 16, I was 15 to start working. I would stock the aisles with groceries. But the reason I went to the grocery store, I was like, this is perfect. I could steal groceries. I could steal food. And that was the truth. I said, I'm going to steal as much food as I want. I'm in charge of the groceries. I'm stocking the shelves, you know, whatever. It's 15-year-old mentality, right? So I was just ready to eat. So come break time, I would like steal the fruit, you know, in those cans, those Doles and
like the cut up the fruit
yeah,
cocktail.
the fruit cocktails. And when nobody was looking, I would rip it open. I would just like chug the thing, you know.
Oh, so you was at work getting full.
Oh yeah, at school I would skip classes so I can eat lunches. You know what I mean? It was. I wasn't interested in sports. I wasn't interested in like nothing. None of that stuff interests me. I was just like trying to survival mode for me.
So, would you say that survival mode really made it like your hard work? Your survival mode created a hard work and a determination not to go back to that situation ever.
It did. It did. So it's funny because I was just thinking. I was having a conversation the other day with someone, and we actually touched on my work ethic. And I said, I think I was just born with a work ethic. You know what I mean? I really do think. And then when I started to understand what was happening in my environment, it just fanned that flame. And so now, as an adult, as a grown man now, that's all I know. I don't know how to sit still.
I know you don't.
I can't.
I've been on vacation with you.
Yeah.
And you could not sit still.
Nope. It's very, very, very weird for me to just be like.
Remember when we was in Broken Bow and we told that girl that we was famous? So look.
I forgot all about that
so,
one, John.
So look.
You're crazy. That's you, bro. That's not me.
So we all out of town in Broken Bow. We have our
my.
lovely spouses with us. And we're just sitting at this table.
Shout out to Sarah, my wife.
And shout out to Jess. You know
Gotta
what I
say
mean?
that.
Sister Sarah, what up?
Sister Sarah.
So we chilling at this is the probably one of the only two restaurants in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. And while we sitting there, I don't know how this happened, but the girl just thought we was famous or something.
I'll tell you why.
Vinny
Because
told
you're
her.
6'6" and I'm like a midget, 5 foot over
But
here.
did you tell her that we were famous or?
I think I told her you were famous.
And long story short,
I don't look famous.
you look short.
Yeah, but compared to you,
Short people are famous. Half of Hollywood is short.
I look like Danny DeVito.
75%, yeah, you do look
Danny
like
DeVito. I look like the penguin.
Vinny DeVito. But so long story short, we eat. Food wasn't all that great. I'm gonna be honest.
It wasn't.
But the experience was amazing. We ended up the next day with some backstrap. And if you guys don't know what backstrap is a part of the deer that you eat. And it showed up at our cabin doorstep.
It's like the best part of the deer.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the filet mignon of deer,
of deer,
is
yeah.
backstrap.
Yes.
It showed up. And I don't know, I ain't never been in Boy Scouts. I ain't never did none of this, but
Neither have I.
somehow in the hell, me and Vinny sit here and we make a fire. Like we built a fire pit with wood logs and made it work, and then took the grill off the barbecue pit from the cabin and put on top of the wood logs.
We did that thing though.
That backstrap was hella good.
We did that.
Yeah, that was
we
some
built
good
a good
backstrap.
fire too. It was a good fire. Like it was evenly distributed and everything.
Yeah, you know that backstrap was cooking because you could hear it in the foil.
yeah,
It was tender.
Oh, that was a good backstrap right there. But that girl, yeah, that didn't help it either, did it?
What's up with you and backs,
Bro, you got this thing started like this, man.
I'm just asking. I'm
It's
asking.
your story. Finish your story, John. Finish your story.
Don't you mad at me? 'Cause
I can't speak to no backstraps or nothing no more, man.
I'm just saying.
The deer was injured.
The deer was
The
injured.
deer had an injury, man.
But yeah, so this backstrap came up to the door. We ate it. And,
You
yes.
seasoned it.
Yeah, shout out to whoever the young lady was. I don't remember her name, but
But she was like real adamant about getting us superstars, some
backstrap.
these famous guys, some piece of back. She said, my husband will go out there and get that back strap tomorrow. And we just looked at each other and we said, what is she talking about? What is she saying? And then she knocked on the door. Not the next day, it was the following day she knocked, remember?
Right, and it was some backstrap.
She said, what did she tell us? She said, I would have brought it to you yesterday, but my husband got hurt and he couldn't get the deer right. And
You think her husband got his back blown?
I don't want to talk about nothing.
I'm just saying.
He probably got injured too. Carrying that deer around for us. We weren't famous.
But nah, man, you know. But so yeah, that let y'all know how me and Vinny and our significant others travel.
That was so funny.
That was fun. That was a fun trip, bro. Yeah.
Oh man, it's a lot of memories on that trip.
Yeah.
We were anyway.
But back to but you know, so bro, like what was some pivotal moments in your life that you look at now and thankful for? Because I think so many of us look at the negative moments in our life and it takes us back to dark places or bring us down, but it's never like, yo, those moments helped me become who I am today.
That was a very pivotal moment at the age of 15 for me. It's almost a double-edged sword. Like, because of that, I felt like I was becoming my own man, which was so far from the truth, right? But at 15 years old, which is the reality for a lot of young men out there right now. I mean, they're in rough, tough situations where they feel like, look, I'm the man of this house. And I felt like that for a little while, you know what I mean? So that was a pivotal moment, but the double-edged part of that was it led me down a crazy, crazy road of, man, of just abuse, drug abuse and substance abuse. It was my own mental abuse, and you know what I mean? But it was a very pivotal moment. Looking back at it now, it was a very pivotal moment. At 14, I started drinking.
Yeah.
14, I was drinking, and I was going in. You know, I mean, you were a teenager. I say you're a teenager, and you know, you just experiment on things, but it stuck to me. You know what I mean? And now, and again, always looking back, and you're gonna hear me say that because now I'm 41 now. So when I look back, now it makes sense why Dad didn't want us around that, because it's an I have a very addictive personality.
Yeah, you addicted to success now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should, like, I think when people hear the word substance abuse, they always refer to substance abuse as a negative thing, but substance abuse is really anything that you do a lot of.
Yeah.
It's whatever you consume a lot of, and it doesn't have to be consumption of like what you put into your body. It could be what you put into your mind.
It's very true.
So substance abuse is not always.
That's a good point.
Yeah, substance abuse is not always negative, and I think that's something people should also hear, that it's not always a negative term.
It's food.
That's substance.
You can, you know, there's people with pornography. There's people with business. There's. Hey,
why are you talking about pornography and we talking about back being blown, and now it's pornography is substance?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know why.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Because there's some people that struggle with it. There's some people
they definitely struggle.
That really struggle with pornography. There's people that struggle with food and success. You know, and it's just a lot of different. Too much of anything is bad for you.
Right.
It's just the truth. Too much of anything it can hurt you. And so, for me, that's where I started to. I mean, I went in at 14. I went in, and I'll never forget, John, when we were at work one time, and this guy, I seen him smoking cigarettes, and I was like, the smell, it just, I don't know, it was different. It's something I never really smelled before. You know what I mean? And so I was like, hey man, I want to smoke a cigarette. And they said, man, this thing will give you a buzz. And I was like, a cigarette gives you a buzz? I thought that was like weed and stuff, you know? And he's like, no, bro, like a cigarette gives you a buzz. I said, how? I'll never forget this. He said, look, you inhale it, put your head back, and he said, and blow it out real slow, and it's going to give you like a head rush. And I did it, and I was addicted to cigarettes then. So now I was drinking, and I got into cigarettes. You know what I mean? I was like, by a little buzz. Stop.
I'm not going to say anything.
Don't do this, John. No.
I'm not, bro.
So after that, it went to weed, then I went to pills, and I went to acid and coke, and then I went to shooting up, then it was meth, and then it was was a number of like, the more I was doing, I felt I could do. The more I would work, the more money I would have, I felt it entitled me to go and do whatever it is that I want to do. Now, the whole time, my parents are pastors.
It's normally you
Yeah, the
pastor
PKs.
kids that be the damn
They
worst.
do, but you know what? It's because of the way they represent the Bible to us. Again, extremists. It was very religious. It was taught very religious. Now, mom and dad did what they could. They had the best intention for us, but it was the way they were taught. And that's where it becomes generational. People fall into things because of how it's taught to them.
Right.
And so they meant well, but for me, it didn't do us well because it was hell or heaven, in or out. I wasn't taught grace. I wasn't taught love. I wasn't taught mercy. We weren't taught that with Christ, in Christ. So it was like, well, I don't want to do that. I did that already. This is the part where I felt I was missing. So I wanted to do this, and I like this more than I like that, to be honest with you. And so I went in. John, I went in, dude.
Hey, I need a story of like one of them nights that you was just.
So I'll give you, man, one of many stories, John.
Hey, that's what we.
I'm gonna be like 100%.
Look
like,
in the camera. They want to know.
This story was, this story rocked me, changed my life, bro. We had I remember one time I went to go and drop off my daughter in Freeport. Okay, I was living in Houston. I went to Freeport to go and drop her off. And at that time, gangs were big and it got into all of that stuff. Well, I remember I did horrible things, John. Things I'm not even proud of saying. But when I went to, when I went to Freeport, on my way back, I got a phone call and they said, we're going to get you. And I knew what had happened from what we had did to a family before. I knew it was just a matter of time before they came and got me. And long story short, a truck pulled mine over, like got me off the road, and they went in there and they kidnapped me. and it was wild,
was
bro.
Was it kidnapped like on Hangover?
No, it wasn't. No, it was not that. It was. That was better.
No, you are the second person that has told me that they have gotten kidnapped.
Yeah, no, it's a real deal. Like, there's a whole nother world out there that people are oblivious to.
All right, come on. Am I gonna laugh at this story?
No. It was scary.
I don't want to look like an asshole to everybody.
It's too late. It's too late. You did that to yourself when you said that. When you talked about that,
I didn't talk about your dad. You did.
You brought it up.
You said, well, you know what you
anyway,
said. Right.
So I was talking about Dad's injury.
We're talking about you getting kidnapped.
So I got kidnapped, and then I jumped back. So they grabbed me out of my truck. They like beat me. They were beating me and stuff. And then I got in the truck, and then I heard like they took me into a warehouse. I knew it was a warehouse because I could hear the echoes and stuff like that, right? They were pistol whooping me, bro. They were hitting me, whatever. And then they put the gun in my mouth. And all I could remember was I said, if this is it, Lord, I asked for forgiveness and repentance. I repented and I asked for forgiveness.
You said that all with a gun in your mouth?
In my head, I was saying this. I couldn't even, it was horrible. It was horrible, bro. Like, I couldn't see. All I could do was hear. You know what I mean? I didn't know when the next hit was coming. I didn't know how they were if it was gonna be a bat, if it was a gun, it was crazy, bro. It was nuts. It was nuts. Luckily, I was able to get rid of my daughter. So at that point, I remember saying, I was like, this is it, Lord. Forgive me for anything I've done, my disobedience, and if this is it, then this is it. So they put the gun in the mouth and the gun jammed. The gun jammed. And then they got mad. They got mad at the guy who put the gun in my mouth. And they said, give me another one. And they put it in my mouth and it jammed again. A different gun. It jammed again. Fast forward.
So I just got one question before we fast forward. At this point, you heard the guns jam.
Yeah.
Did you have any bowel movements on yourself?
I don't know. I was all I could hear was that. I was out of it. I was out of it. I got beat before they did that. So I was like, I was like, I
So
could
you had
just
already
hear.
peed and all of that yourself?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
When I got out, I was dry. If that helps, like everything
Did
was.
that-
I was. So no.
Yeah, I was just asking you that because I'm pretty sure somebody else wanted to know.
No, not that I can remember.
Okay, bet.
Not that I can remember. So at that point, fast forward years after that, I had gave my life to the Lord, and I made a promise. I said everywhere that I had, every person that I hurt, I wanted to help somebody for that. So I dedicated my life to the Lord and to helping people. So I remember I went to a funeral, and they asked me to speak at this person's funeral. Check this out. When I got to the funeral and I spoke, I left. I was done with my piece, and I left, and I walked down the aisle, and this guy says, "Hey, man, I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." And so we left out of the actual funeral home, and we went to like a room that was off on the side. And when we went over there, he says, "Hey, man," and I'll never forget that tone of that voice when he said, "Hey, man." And I said, "You're him, aren't you?" And he says, "I didn't know." He says, "I didn't know you were a pastor." And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "I didn't know you were a pastor." And I said, "You're the one that put the gun in my mouth." Hey, bro, he came to me in that conversation. He was like, "Man, I'm sorry." And I said, "Bro, let me pray with you." And I led him to Christ, right? And at that moment, I said, "God, from here on out, I'll do whatever I have to do to help whoever I have to help, and it's your will, not mine." And that was one of many stories, bro. That was like the odds of a gun jamming is like 1 in a million.
And you had it twice.
Twice, back to back.
Damn.
And so I knew then I was growing into my walk with Christ, and I said, then I said, I'm not supposed to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I started to accept change. You know what I mean? And that was a huge pivotal part of my life, because my pastor, Juan Martinez, he helped coach me up into learning Christ. So I understood as an adult now, getting off of drugs and all these things, I started to really understand and appreciate help, mentorship, asking people for help, and keeping my circle tight then, you know what I mean? And so, needless to say, the gentleman, he gave his life to God, and you know, I haven't heard from him since.
But your purpose was served.
It was served. And so was his.
Yeah.
So was his. You know what I'm saying? And so I can only imagine how he felt seeing the guy that he knew he was about to off, bro. Like he was about to just blow the head off, bro. Twice. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I mean? There was stories, man. God, there's so many stories, bro. There's stories where I don't even remember how. A lot of us probably remember those. Like, man, I don't know how I got home. You know, I was walking down a dark alley one day.
That don't never sound good.
It's crazy because I remember I was walking down an alley, and I was walking with a buddy of mine, and he had for whatever reason, I looked down and I my shoe was untied. Dude, I was coked up. I was sniffing coke. I was drinking. I was high. I popped a couple of pills. I mean, just whatever you put in front of me, it was let's get it on. You know, we're gonna have a good time. And for whatever reason, I looked at my shoe and I was like, I really need to tie my shoe. And I don't know why I said I need to tie my shoe. So I bent over and I started to tie my shoe, and my buddy literally had took like 2 steps ahead of me. He was like probably right there where you were at. And I'm down here tying my shoe, and all I heard was shh, shh. It was a sawed-off 12 gauge, bro, and they took his head off right in front of me.
Jeez.
And I'm sitting here tying my shoe, and I'm like, what? The blood comes on me, brain, matter was on me, and I was like, what the heck? Dude, time after time after time after time where I should be dead right now. Like, literally, legit should be dead. One got his head blown off. The other one got shot in the heart. The other one got shot in the back and went through the heart.
And you still lived.
And I'm still here on all three. Like, all 3 of those situations were within 10, 15 feet of each other, bro. insane, John.
So
Insane.
you've been protected for a long time. You just didn't know it.
Even from birth, my mom, before my mother passed, she said she went to go and do laundry. This is wild, bro. She went to go and do laundry, and she said that for whatever reason, water or something got on her hand, and she started to get electrocuted. And she said she felt the hand come and pick hers off of that washing machine, and then it stopped. When I was being born, the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, bro, and like
That's why you crazy.
I was probably I didn't have enough circulation of air in my brain.
Yeah, you lost oxygen early in life.
There's number of times where I should have been dead, bro.
Now we know.
Ran under an 18-wheeler, ran me over. I was in the truck. I fell asleep. 18-wheeler ran me over.
Dude, do you play the lotto?
No, I never won.
You should probably try again.
I remember I'll scratch a couple of lotto tickets every night.
No, don't scratch. You got the numbers in you, bro.
No, man. I never tried it.
You should.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure everybody.
I'm all right. Like, the barbershop takes care of me. I'm good. I ain't that serious.
You sound like you're lucky.
Or blessed. Or purpose.
I'm going to say all three.
Okay.
But
I'll say that too.
When I don't even play the lotto, but I'm going to call you because I need to get some numbers picked by you.
It was, yeah, man. We went on a crazy journey.
So let's fast forward a little bit, man. Like, what made you decide to get into barbering? And because, you know what, before we even go there, you worked with somebody that's real famous. Or you worked for somebody that's real famous. Mr.
Donald Trump.
I didn't say it, you did.
Donald Trump, yeah. We built his towers.
You built his towers?
Built his towers in Chicago. Worked in Tennessee Titans Stadium, built those. I worked with OSHA. I would travel and build high-rises, hospitals. The whole time I was doing all of that stuff, I was cutting hair.
Bro, how was that working for Donald, or working with Donald?
So I worked there for not long, John. Not long at all, because, quick story about that. I walked in and he says, hey, this is my building. I'm going to run this project the way I want to run this project. And if you don't like it, you can get up and leave.
That's what Donald Trump said to everybody, or to you?
No. He had like a big meeting. It was all the contractors there and everything. And I mean, he laid it down. He said, this is what I'm going to do. Rightfully so. It's your money. You do what you want to do. So he was like, if you don't like it, you can get up and leave. So respectfully, I scooped my chair back and I got up and everybody looked at me and said, Vinny, where you going? I said, I'm leaving. And I said, he goes, let him go. And I was like, cool. So they said, one guy, he says, why do you want to leave? So I had a reputation in being in safety because I would cut hair, right? Mm-hmm. I would cut hair on the job and people would buy into my safety program because I would cut their hair and then we would build relationships. So it was like I would scratch theirs, they would scratch my back, and I would scratch their back. So it was an exchange. So my safety program, people would buy into it because I was able to cut their hair. So at that time, people wanted me on their projects because we would have OSHA recordables and things of that nature. So that's how I got into being known as the barber in construction.
Wow.
It's crazy, bro. The barber chair, those clippers, hair, it's the common denominator between every single person on this earth.
Yeah, I always say that. Like, when you're a barber, you have the ability to touch so many different people.
It's cool.
You can't change lives, but you could change thoughts.
And it was the things that I heard from people. You got to remember, I was in different states, man, and people would go and travel to these states from different countries. And I mean, I met all kinds of great individuals, man. Horrible people, good people, but it was just at that moment when you're cutting their hair, everything just goes. All your status, it's just at that moment it's you and that person. And they asked me, they said, why do you want to leave? And I was like, look, man, I don't know if you ever had to tell anybody or had to see anybody die, but I have. And I don't want to make a phone call to a wife and say, hey, your husband fell off of a 200-foot steel that's being hung in the air and they're trying to put that beam in. I said, no, I'm not doing that, man. Or you got to make the phone call and you got to say, hey, your dad's not coming home. Or the other one where your brother's not coming home. I had to do that 3 times, John. 3 times, bro.
So what made you feel like it was going to be unsafe by him making that statement?
So I told him, I said, if you feel you can come into your project and not give me the courtesy to give these guys a warning, because let's be honest, a lot of people that build these buildings and make this world go around are illegal aliens. That's just what it is. It's just what it is. I don't care how you want to skin it. I don't care how you want to talk about it, man. It's those illegal aliens that come in. You know, those guys from Mexico, man. They build it quicker, better, and faster. That's just cheaper. That's just what it is, man. And so I said, when they see them shiny boots or them slick, you know, them creased up slacks and that creased up shirt, they get scared because they don't know if that's the border patrol coming after them, La Migra, or if it's gonna be a guy just on a project, and they freak out and they get scared. So by all means, if you're gonna walk your project, fine, walk your project, but give me a heads up so I can get that guy and be like, hey, listen, get it together because they're coming.
Right.
So that people tense up, they really get scared because they don't want to go back to that poverty, you know, that poverty living.
Yeah, and that's fair. Nobody really wants to.
Nobody
Once you start feeling like you're making it out and you're doing something positive, nobody wants to have to
go backwards. You don't want to go backwards. You know what I mean? And so that was that. And I came to Houston. I went back to Houston, and when I went to Houston in what was that? I was 6, 7. I don't know, John. For like a moment there, my life was a blur because I did so much. You know, I was a drug head, man. I was a functioning alcoholic. It was a like legit blur in my life. But anyway, I had moved back to Houston. We started building BP's headquarters, and then the recession hit. The recession came in 08, I think it was. I think it was 08. 07, it started 08. Now, mind you, the whole time, I didn't know nothing about money. I was making a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to, invest it.
I think that's everybody, right? Like, I think that's some of the biggest things that I see right now in our industry in general, in the barbering industry, or in most industries. People make a lot of money and they rely on other people to tell them how to manage their money or what to do with their money, but they don't learn money management themselves. So you're putting your whole life and your trust into somebody else's idea of money.
So that's very true, and that's the problem with social media. That's the problem. Social media gives you great tips on what to do, but there's a whole process behind that. Like, they're just giving you the surface level. They're not giving you the depth of what goes into it. And so what happens is they think they can just go to a bank and get X, Y, and Z. No, you got to have the good credit. You're going to have some savings to go with it. You got to be registered as a business, your LLCs, your DBAs, your S Corps, your C Corps. There's so much that goes into that. Now, they'll tell you how to get a tax write-off, but they're not going to tell you to set yourself up with everything else. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't know money, period, because I came from a place where, hey, I'm making money, let's go get high. And that's really what it was, John.
Yeah, I'm making money. Party.
Let's. I was hanging out with, man. It was just crazy. It was crazy. At that point, the recession hits, and I winded up homeless.
Damn.
I lost everything, John. Everything: houses, cars, motorcycles, money, friendships. I was living good. I was living good at an early age. And everything I lost it. Everything I lost within literally 6 months. Done, homeless. So now you go from having a good time, company credit cards, company vehicles, cell phones, iPads, everything that you can think of, man. Like, I was good. I was legit okay. Came out from the hood, beat death, all of these things, and now all of a sudden here I am, homeless.
Back at ground zero. And that's whenever I realized money is nothing if your heart's not right.
So
at that point, were you already into pastoring, or was it?
No, not at all.
I was about to say, because that's really testing your faith right there.
Not at all.
So when did you get into pastoring?
I came into ministry being homeless. I went into barber school. In the last 6 months of barber school is whenever I was homeless. And I remember I sat in my truck. I'll never forget this. I sat in my truck and I said, God, if you're real, I need you to help me. And immediately when I said that, I felt like somebody slapped me in the mouth and said, that's how far gone you are. You had to question if I'm real.
Wow.
It rocked my world. Another pivotal moment, right? And I was like, what the heck? Well, I never forget Rance Allen and Kirk Franklin, they made a song, something about the name Jesus. Okay? Mm-hmm. And every time I would play that song, mind you, the whole time that all of my life is transitioning and going through all of these things, I kept far away from mom and dad as I possibly could because I didn't want to hear nothing to do with God. I didn't want it, John. I did not want to hear anything that had to do with God. I got money. I did this. I'm going there. I'm making a way. I'm having a career. It was always I. It has nothing to do with faith, nothing to do with mercy, nothing to do with grace over my life, favor over my life, nothing. And the whole time, mom and dad are praying.
Bro, I used to go to sleep in church all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like I used to, old school, put the Bible over and put my hand like this. And then I would, every now and then, get this, like, so they know I was still there.
Yeah.
Go right back.
I did the opposite.
What you used to do?
I would look down just like this, and then one day I fell asleep, and I fell forward, and boom, my head hit. I was right in the front.
Did you fall down and start praying? I would have fell down and just started praying.
I should have. My dad, he looked at me and he said, leave him there.
Hey, all right, look. You know the craziest thing I ever did in church? I don't know. I don't remember what age I was.
Oh, no.
But.
This is scary.
Yeah. It was. My mom looked at me, bro.
Did she pinch you? You know that old school pinch? They get you right underneath your arm?
I wasn't close enough.
Ooh. You got it when you got home. I know you did.
Yeah, I got a good talking to. Because I yelled out hallelujah when I do you.
Where did you hear that from?
Probably a damn song. But
hallelujah when I do you.
Yeah, I'm going to get the name of the song, but it was hallelujah when I do you.
Was the church quiet? Like it was a quiet? You just randomly decided.
Like everybody.
Like the Lord touched you. Hallelujah when I do you.
You know how everybody's sitting there and like, oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. I just randomly just yelled out, hallelujah when I do you.
You don't know how old you were?
I don't remember.
I want to ask your mom.
Yeah.
I bet you she never forgot it.
I definitely believe she forgot. We was in Georgia though, because you know my mom is from Georgia, so we was in Georgia. So I was definitely younger. I know I was definitely younger. But I just
hallelujah when I do you.
Hallelujah when I do you. So yeah, that was.
Yeah, I was smart enough not to yell out something like that.
But you wasn't smart enough to act like you was praying when you hit
I fell asleep and I went head first like off a diving board, bro. And I hit, boom, that thing hurt too, bro. I did not. My dad said, leave him there.
The Lord said, wake your ass up.
When you going to wake up? Somehow, some way, you will wake up.
That was it.
He will get your attention. So, yeah, I was homeless. And that's when CDs were back in.
What is a CD?
Yeah, I know. It's whatever. So I had a CD, and I'm not going there. I had a CD, and I told my buddy, I said, hey, man, do me a favor. He said, what's up? Because barber school back in the day was like being locked up. I never was locked up, but it was like being locked up. They played dominoes. I remember one time, bro, the Texas Rangers came in. They kick in the door. They come in with guns. They're on the roof. They're all in the back. Everywhere, like bear crawling in the front.
Somebody was selling dope out of there.
Well, the guy, that always happened. They had undercover cops in there and everything. But what happened was this guy was making counterfeit money.
The owner of the...
No, not the owner, one of the barbers. And it was his third strike, you know what I mean? So if he messed up, then he's going in for life. Well, he was messing up. He would always pull out a wad of just ones, fives, and tens. Never had 20s, 50s, 100s. It was just always ones, fives, and 10. And then, so finally, they caught on to him. They were following him forever, bro.
That's pretty smart, though. You go to the smaller bills,
whatever.
not the bigger bills.
Well, whatever. I don't know. I didn't know if that was smart or not. I was looking at him like, dude.
He never gave you snack money at school?
Huh? Gave me what?
Snack money. Like you ain't ever like, bro, let me hold $5.
Oh, no. You got to remember, bro, because I had left all that alone. I went in construction, so I didn't mess with none of that.
Listen.
No, I didn't.
Everybody need $5.
No. I would cut hair. I would cut hair, make my money in there. I never asked them for money. I'm glad I didn't, because they probably would have attached me to them.
He's not trying to admit that he done took $5 counterfeit.
No.
You live a legit life now.
No. I lived a legit life then.
No, you did not.
I never sold drugs.
But you had that counterfeit $5.
No, he had it. I mean,
So are you admitting you were a snitch?
Not me.
You just said you pointed to. He had it.
The Rangers knew he had it. I didn't have to say that. I just sat there and mind my business. I was watching it go down. I'll never forget it. He kept looking in the mirrors. He was looking at mirrors everywhere. Well, I kept watching him looking in the mirrors, and I was like, nah, I'm out of here, bro. I clocked out and I dipped. And right when I dipped, that's how I knew they were on the roof. Because I was in my truck, right when I hit reverse to back out, there was a truck I was living in when I was home. So when I reversed, I looked and I was like, oh, snap, they're on the roof. What's going on? And I left. You're not getting me. I clocked out, bro. You know what I mean? He was on his way to clock out too. But he was like 4 people behind me because I seen him looking in the mirrors freaking out.
And he seen it. He sensed it.
Yeah, he sensed it. So I started freaking out with him. I was like, shoot, I'm 4 people ahead of him. I'm gone. So whenever I left the door, that's when it all went down. And they were like, yo, you knew because you left us. Whatever, bro, I'm out. Shoot, I'm here. And what do you mean? He's in there. I didn't know nothing. I don't care. I don't care what you say. We're all out here talking about him. He's in there. I don't care what you say. So barber school is like prison. So anyway, I go to the guy and I was like, hey, burn me this CD. Burn me this CD, bro. And he said, all right, what do you want? I said, I want Kirk Franklin and Rance Allen, nothing but the name Jesus.
That was the only song you wanted?
The only song. So the disc was like an hour and 7 minutes, I think it was. Never forget it. It was just that one song.
Bruh, you was still high.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I was, John.
To listen to one song for an hour and 7 minutes?
Maybe.
That ain't no maybe. I'm letting you know.
I can't remember. It was a blur, bro. It was a blur. But I will tell you this. I was tormented.
Got you.
I was tormenting my mind because I knew I shouldn't have been. Bro, when you lose everything, all of a sudden, the one thing that matters, you will always remember it. Whatever that is in your life. When you lose everything, if your mom told you never steal, and you lose everything, you're going to go back to those principles and be like, man, I should have never stole. Or I remember when they told me. You see what I'm saying? So now when I lost everything, I was like, I'm tormented at this point. And the only peace that I had is whenever... I always tell people, you know how like when you get a blanket and you pop it and you lay it down and it covers you and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna sleep good.
Yeah.
That's what I felt with love and peace every time I would hear Jesus' name.
Wow.
So I never not wanted to hear anything else because I was tired of being high. I was tired of being tormented. I was fed up. And then I asked, okay, if you're real, then, you know, that prayer, if you're real, then show me, you know, I need your help. And then, I get slapped in the mouth. And it's like, if I'm real, you're that far gone. Then I'm watching all this stuff go down and I'm hitting rewind. It was like a crazy movie. So at this point, I called up Dad after months of doing that. I called up my dad and I was like, hey, Pops, what's going on? He said, hey, son, how you doing? Like, my dad's so chill, bro. Like, my dad.
Nah, he's super chill. It was probably that back injury. Chilled him out.
Anyway.
Charlie.
No, my dad was like cool, and he would always like try to call me to see, like, hey, man, where you at? John, because I was like, Papa was a Rolling Stone. I was everywhere, bro. I did a lot of stuff in a short amount of time.
Bro, you still like that right now, though. That goes back to you not being able to sit still. You still like that. It's just in a positive manner now.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God for that 1 hour and 7 minutes of Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Franklin did it, man. Rance Allen. If you don't know Rance Allen, go look up Rance Allen, man. He's the GOAT in gospel music. Like, he really is. And so he would do these high notes. It was so cool, bro. And I'll be in my truck crying, listening to Rance Allen and Kirk Franklin.
Did you do that in your truck, too?
I would cry like that. I didn't try to sing like that. In my head, it sounded good, but, you know, I never tried to. Yeah, no, I wouldn't ever try to do that. So at that point, I said, I need help. That same day, check this out. That same day, they came to me, financial aid came to me. And they said, hey, man, they need to go talk to you in the office. And I was like, I don't give help. I got to pay out of my pocket. Because they went off of my W-2s from the years before from work. So I made too much money, so I never qualified for help. And they said, you need to go and talk to them. And I was like, nah, bro, y'all got the wrong people. So I'm sitting there hustling, cutting hair. Non-stop cutting hair. And they're like, you need to go and talk to them. I said, dude, I'm not going to talk to them. You got the wrong person. Kept cutting hair. Excuse me, the guy gets mad and he says, dude, get your butt over there and go and talk to them. And I was like, fine. So I go over there, hey, look, they told me to come in and come talk to somebody. I think you guys got the wrong people. The lady said, well, sit down. And I was like, for what? You got the wrong people. Are you Vincent De Leon? I said, yeah, I'm Vincent De Leon. She said, then sit down. And it was an older black lady. And she said, sit down.
Ooh, once she said down, you already knew.
I sat down. You know what I mean? So when I sat down, she said, where do you live? And I got mad. Now, John, mind you.
You said out my truck.
I was mad. I was mad. The whole time I had built up anger towards everybody. Like I was so upset with my life. That's the flip side people don't talk about. Like the ripple effect. Okay, you're homeless, but now the ripple effect is now you become angry, you become lonely, you become desperate, it's the ripple effect. It's everything that was attached to the main thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm pissed. Like, what does it matter to you? I told her. And she looked at me and she said, I'm trying to help you. I said, you can't help me. I made too much money. I don't get help. I don't even know why I'm in this financial aid office. And she said, Mr. De Leon, our new school year starts in July. You've been coming here 6 months already. Back then, barber school, you had it $1,500.
Yeah.
So she said, you've been already here half of that time. You qualify, and our new school year starts next week. You qualify for financial aid.
Bless him.
I said, what? She said, we're going to pay for your education, and we're going to cut you a check for $5,000. I said, are you kidding me? She said, we're going to give you $5,000. And I started crying. And I was like, you're real. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got the 5 G's, John, and I drank it up. I went and snorted coke. And
I was about to say, you went and hit that 8-ball, huh?
I went crazy.
Mexican OT call it an onion.
The onion. I heard him say that.
Onion, huh?
Yeah, I went and got the onion, bro. And I went nuts, and I drank the whole 5 G's. And then now I'm back in my truck, crying again, listening to rants, howling, and I'm drinking, I'm smoking. And so finally I called up my dad, and I was like, Dad, this time I was like, Dad, I'm tired. I can't keep living my life like this. And he said, he said, son, well, just come back to Christ. Come back to God. And I said, no, it's easy for you to say. He was like, I've been doing it. You know what I mean? And he was real. He's like, I've been doing it. And I was like, yeah, Dad, but it's different. You never left the town. And he was like, well, you did all that because you wanted to. Mm-hmm. And without Dad really knowing what he was saying, he was like slapping me in the mouth. And it wasn't like it was on purpose or from a mean place. It was out of love.
Yeah, he was just talking to his son.
He's just talking to his son, bro. Still to the day, that's the way we have a straight up conversation.
And I've been around both of y'all, so I've seen it that's literally, because it reminds me of my relationship with my pops. It's the same thing where I just have a conversation with him, and it's like, it's more of a father that give you advice, but he also give it in a way to where it's like, all right, I'm going to just tell it to you, and if it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm going to lay it down there. If you pick it up, that's on you.
Right.
So he said, son, let me tell you what happened to me. I said, what's up, Dad? He said, I literally just hung up the phone yesterday with the pastor, and they called me up and they said, get ready, your son's going to come back to Christ. And then the next day I called him and I was telling him this. And he said, just come back.
You sure you don't want to play the lotto?
It's crazy, John. Right. It's crazy.
Let me know when you're ready to play. I'm going with you.
For real.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Now, you start pastoring, and then you start transitioning your life into a positive direction and doing all this stuff, and boom, you pop up with a barbershop.
Yep. Met my wife, Sarah.
Sister
Sarah. When I met Sarah, I took on 3 kids, and then I had my daughter, and I went back into construction, and I hated it. I hated construction. I hated it because I felt like I was attached to the system of economics, and if they're doing bad, you're going to be doing bad, and when to go to work, when not to go to work. And I was like, man, I'm so over all of this stuff. So, we're serving with Christ as we still do, and I said, Sarah, I feel like the Lord is tugging on me to start my own barbershop. And so she was like, look, if you don't do it, they're going to wind up firing you, and then you're going to be without a job anyway. So just do it. Like, Sarah always supported me. My wife has always supported me.
She's like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Like it.
So we went and we started our barbershop in 2017.
How much money did it take you to start your barbershop?
I don't know how much it cost. I was negative $200 in my bank account. I know that.
But with negative $200, you turned that into a positive.
So again, God's grace, right? My whole barbershop was legit given to me. Legit given. People in the community found out that I was going to start my own barbershop. Because mind you, this whole time now, I'm serving Christ and I'm doing to help people. And no strings attached, John. I just want to go back and let God's grace be known to people. That God is good. God is good. No matter what you're going through, God is good. And I just stood on that. And I still tell people like, man, bro, have you prayed? Try it. Anyway, so God is good. So the community, they find out, hey, man, I heard you're going to get a shop, and I hear this and that and that and that. And they tell me, they're like, yo, you're going to need $2,500 to get into this building. Okay, and I'm fast forwarding that story because that's a crazy
story.
So he says, I'm going to give you $2,500. You need $2,500 to come and put a deposit down. I told Sarah, we're in. We're in. She was like, what do you mean? I said, he approved us. We need $2,500. And she goes, where are you going to get $2,500? I said, you're so negative. You're so negative. What do you mean where are we going to get it? I said, we're in. It don't matter. I don't care if I got to go sell cupcakes under the bridge. I don't care if I got to go cut hair. I don't care. Like, we're in, though. I'm a hustler. I'm going to go get $2,500. The legit way. John, we were in church. This guy comes up to me. He says, I can't go to sleep. I said, what do you mean? He says, I can't go to sleep. I just came into some insurance money, and I don't know why, but I feel like God's telling me that I need to give you this money. He gave me $1,000. I fell on my knees, and I started crying. Sarah goes over there. She's like, are you okay? I was like, babe, somebody just gave us $1,000. Mind you, we didn't tell no one. We did not tell a soul that we needed $2,500.
You still don't think you need to play the lotto?
I trust God more than the lotto, man. He's been more faithful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need numbers, bro. I don't need numbers, man. All right. And so at that point, another couple came up to me and they said, hey, can we talk to you for a minute? I was like, yeah, I'm on a roll. Yeah, what you got? I'll never forget it. He says, my wife wants to buy you a barber chair. I told her we don't know nothing about barbering. Give him the money. And she's getting mad at me. I'm getting mad at her. So I'm tired of it. So look, here, he gave me a check for $2,000.
Damn.
Just like that. Literally, John, I got told on a Friday, I think it was. On Sunday, I had $2,500. I had 3 G's, bro. And that's how we opened up the barbershop. And then my father-in-law came and he paid to get it painted. I had $500 left, okay? I had $500 left. And I said, let me sew in. Like, let me give you $500 of this. I have to give back. I have to.
Yeah, you got to pay back into your business.
I have to pay it forward now. So I gave him the $500, John. When I gave him the $500, people from my old job found out I was opening up. They came in and said, Vinny, what do you need? I said, man, I really need some lights. They went and boom, bought an electrician, hired an electrician, paid for it. He went and put lights in there, bro. Barber chair after barber chair after barber chair after barber chair, down to rugs, down to the whole barbershop was given to me in 2017.
So basically what you're saying is people need to trust faith, something that they can't see.
You have to.
You can't see it, but you got to trust and believe.
You have to believe in something. You have to. For me, it's Jesus Christ. That's it, hands down.
And that's for you, but for everybody else watching and listening, whatever you believe in, whatever your faith may be, that's what you got to believe in, and you got to sow into that 110%.
If you feel it's your business, sow into your business. Yeah. If you feel it's people, sow into people. If you feel it's donations, sow into donate. Whatever it is that your belief, if you don't sow into that and you don't give to that, you will never, ever, ever reap the benefits of that. Yeah. Period. There's no more or less to that, John, and I'm proof.
So when I met you, you had 2 barbershops at this point, and you were kind of rocking and rolling a little bit.
I had opened up in 17. Harvey hit us. Everything around us was destroyed except for our barbershop. Everything around us was destroyed except our barbershop, bro.
So you know what I'm about to say, right?
Yeah, no, I don't care about lotto. Okay. So listen, even down to our storage, all the units around us except our storage. All of the apartments around ours except our apartment. Literally, John, like the water stopped like 8 feet from getting up to our doorstep. Straight up, bro. So now we rebuild, we're gaining momentum, and then everybody was telling me, man, you need to go open up over here in this area. And I knew that area was growing, but I just never really laid eyes on it. So I went and I said, Sarah, we started building some momentum. We started gaining some momentum. I got us out of debt, right? And I said, Sarah, we need to open up another shop over here. She's like, are you crazy? You know what we just went through? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was, and I said, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. I promise you it's gonna work. So we went, John, and we opened up the second location in 2019. I had seen you in 2019 right before I had actually officially opened for business. And you were teaching a class in Conroe, Texas. And my barber, which is now my manager, Mike, he said, bro, we got to go see this guy. I said, what guy? He's like, John. I was like, what's the big deal about John? And he was like, he's just a cool dude, bro. Like, even if you don't learn anything, he's just a cool dude. Like, I'll follow him. You know what I mean?
I'm glad y'all learned something.
You know, well, I'll be honest with you. I don't remember what you taught. I didn't care to learn technique. I cared for business.
You know what was crazy? Like, thinking about that day, I remember that salon kind of, like, I remember that scenario, and it was a round chair to the right of me, and that's where you sat.
Yep.
You was like in the round chair, and I had a tray to the left of me. Like, I remember vividly that's where you were, because
Crazy.
I remembered that day.
That's crazy.
Crazy as hell.
Yep. You were talking techniques and stuff. I was like, I don't care about shears. I think you were with Hanzo back then.
Who?
Boy, whatever. And so
right.
I said, I don't care about shears and over direction, and I don't care about that. Hey man, how do you manage people? Hey man, how do you know? And I'm asking you some off the wall, but you never not told me though. You know, you would be like, well, you know, you would coach me up with whatever with the time you could. And so the thing that caught me or drew me towards you, like really, really drew me towards you, is you said that you were in LA and you noticed how your son was trying to dabble with like gangs and gang affiliation around you.
Well, it wasn't that he was dibbling and dabbling it, because I don't even want that to be the narrative of, but it was more or less like that's where our family background is.
Okay.
And because that's our family background.
You didn't want him in there.
I didn't want him or my daughter.
Right.
To be around that LA culture, that LA environment, because that's what you're subjected to. You know, and it's sad to say, like my son recently just had two of his closest friends from LA get murdered.
Oh, man.
And so the last time he was in LA, he actually hung out with one of them. So it's like,
that's tough.
I was so far ahead of how I wanted to be a certain type of parent that it made me see the future of what could be if I didn't be that parent in that moment.
It's, you know, that's the part where I always say with parenting is that we're very good at telling our children, no, don't do it because this and this is going to happen. Kids understand what they're doing. They just don't understand the outcome. And that's the part that we know that they don't.
Right.
And so when I heard you say that, I was like, this is a family man. This is a family. He legit got up and moved from culture, everything that he knows, to Texas.
Yeah.
Texas, you know what I mean? Texas is a great place. I think it's the best state in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
It's cool.
Texas is legit, bro. While everybody else, look, LA, you guys were hurting over there whenever the pandemic hit. Texas banging, bro.
I was in Texas, so I couldn't tell you.
Your people were over there. Everybody, anyway. So when you moved to Texas, I was like, that's what's up. So when I opened up, we had officially opened up the second one, and I told Mike, I said, Mike, I need help, and he was like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, dude, I'm reaching out to that cat, John. And he was like, what? I was like, I'm reaching out to John. He's like, bro, that'd be cool. And I was like, the heck with cool, bro. Look, Mike, I went off on Mike, poor guy. I feel bad for Mike, man. Mike been with me through everything. Shout out to Mike and Blake and all my management team, my whole team, man.
Yeah, you
but
got a dope one.
and they had I told him, I said, Mike, this is more than just a cool guy. Mike, you're depending on me so your children don't have to go without. And he was like, when Mike gets dumbfounded, his eyes just get real big. And he just kind of looked at me like with these big. I said, that's how serious it is, Mike. I don't want you guys to be homeless like I was. I don't want your children to experience a lifestyle that I had to experience. No, bro, this is life or death for some of us, man. And barbering, we all feel like this is what we want to do. I feel I owe it to every single client that walks in my door, every single barber, every phone call, every person. Like, I feel like I owe it to them to give them the best that they possibly have had. that they will have, that they ever had, that they'll ever experience. Like, I want to make sure that when you come around Vinny, you're going to leave with something that's going to make you better. And that was it. So I reached out to you. And that was January 1. This is funny. January 1 of 2020.
He slid in my DM.
I slid in the DMs. I said, look, I ain't got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And I shot my shot, and you said,
don't say that.
Whatever, it is what it is.
You didn't shoot no shot.
I did shoot my shot.
Bruh, so we go from your pops having his back blown.
You did.
To you, no, you said it.
I'm talking career now, John.
Slide in my DM shooting your shot.
So anyway, I reached out for help. And when I did, you actually replied. And it was January 1, 2020.
Yeah.
And I told Sarah, I gotta go. We were at my sister-in-law's house. Every year we go over here to Dallas and we hang out with my sister-in-law. Shout out to my brother-in-law, sister-in-law. And she goes, who? I'll never forget it. She goes, who? And I said, Popular Nobody. She was like, and? I don't care. And I was like, I'll be back. Come on, you're going with me. And she goes, where? And I was like, outside of this house. We don't need no distraction. We don't need nothing. John, I took her. We went to Chick-fil-A, and we sat in the parking lot for, I don't know, however long we were. I think an hour I was on the phone with you.
For about like an hour.
And I said, look, dude, I need help. That's all I want. I just need help. I think I have ideas. I don't know if they're right or wrong, but I know that I want to help somebody. I know I need to help these people. And you were like, bet. Come on. And I said, well, how much is it going to cost me? And I think you had charged me like $5,000, I think, something like that.
Somewhere around there.
And I said, 5,000. I looked at, I'll never forget. I looked at the radio and I looked at Sarah, and Sarah goes, she nope, we just got out of debt. You just put all that money. We do not have 5,000, whatever amount it was, 5,000, I don't know what it was. And now I said, okay, cool, bro. Yeah, no problem. Playing it off. I'm sweating a bullet already. I'm like, oh my God, where am I gonna get this money? And then you said you can go through this app. They're gonna charge you some interest, and you can do it through this and that. I mean, you were set up even then.
Yeah, I had it ready.
Yeah, you were ready. And I said, interest? Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't need no interest, bro. I'm hanging on by a thread. So I got Sarah looking at me. I got the radio. I'm looking at the radio. I'm feeling the pressure. And I said, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do interest, man. Can you? And you were like, all right, bro. And when look, just send it straight to me. Then you can. You worked with me, and then you said, I said, okay, cool. When can we do this? And you were like, well, I got an opening in July. I said, July?
Yeah.
It's January. I don't want to wait till July. That's 6 months. That's half the year gone. What am I going to do with you then? I need you now. And I said, well, look, what if I got you in now, and then I show you all my numbers from the beginning of the year, and then you can trend it and help scale it and grow it with me and for me. Mm-hmm. And you were like, you know what? I like that idea. And I was like, whew. And Sarah's sitting there like this, and she starts going. She's still shaking her head at me. And I was like, it worked. It worked. And then I got you in the shop beginning of February. And at that point, we had the 2 locations. 2019, we opened in November. I got you in January 2020. Or, I'm sorry, February we got you in. And then spring break, March, COVID hit. Yep. And I said, oh, no, I got hit with Harvey. We just got out of debt. Sarah's going to be mad at me. I got kids I got to support. I got 2 shops. I got 16 people working for me. John, anything in there. Oh, my gosh, I felt so much pressure. So much pressure. And then COVID slaps me in the mouth. Now I'm shut down for 2.5 months. What am I going to do? So I start cutting hair in the house like the way I used to. Mm-hmm. Started cutting hair. We came back May 2020, and we did $1 million that year.
Yeah, and you sold the second barbershop.
I sold the
you
first
sold shop one.
Shop one. I sold it. I sold it in 21. I sold it.
Yep.
In 21, I sold
And you
it.
thought I was crazy when I told you.
You told me sell shop
I
one.
said, sell it. I said, get from out of it. I said, sell it now. And
And
he
it
was
was-
like, what? And it wasn't a high number, but I was like, just trust the process, bro. And you sold it. And now to date, what are you trending?
Oh man, we did 2020. We came back in May. We did $1 million. 21, we did 1.2. 2022, we did 1.5. And right now, in 23, I'm trending to potentially hit 1.8 million.
So I'm going to look right at this camera real quick. And I'm going to tell people, if you don't believe in the people that you put around you, that trust, that guidance, that support, that conversation, you crazy. You hearing it from Vinny. It don't have to be me. It could be anybody that you feel is worthy enough that you will value what they say, value their opinion. If those are the people that you choose to have around you, you gotta listen. You can't get mad. I done called Vinny an asshole. I done called Vinny in front of his employees. I done called him a dickhead. I done called him all kind of stuff because that's how he was acting. But now, you see, by that guidance, that leadership, and the fact that he trusted.
Yeah.
Just like he said, he didn't want Mike's family to fail in those moments. I didn't want Vinny's family to fail in those moments either. He trusted in me. So whoever you trust to take their advice, and I'm saying it don't have to be me. Just take heed to what they're saying and be respectful of what they're saying. Actually listen to them.
No, that's facts, man. We went from one location now to doing potential 1.8. Now we build houses on the side. We have I have Vinny's Enterprises, another business where we invest in properties and land. We buy it. We build homes. I have another shop that's coming. There's a multiple streams of investments that I'm in now. My life has, thank God, first and foremost, and of course you, John, your wife as well, and you hit the nail on the head, man. Whenever you would hit me in the mouth and tell me some things I didn't want to hear, but those are the things that help you grow, man. It's just the things. It's who you choose to be around and who you choose to trust, and God is faithful, number one. But friendships and I have you as my business mentor, and then I have my pastor as obviously my spiritual mentor, and then I have my wife, and that's my circle. That's my circle. And I don't care what anybody else thinks of me. I don't care about opinions. I only care about what that circle looks like. And as long as you know, God knows, my pastor knows, my wife knows, my parents, as long as they know where we're moving and what it looks like, that's the only thing that matters to me, man. And so, just to piggyback off of that, that's the truth, man. If you're one of those people who you're, you just need help and don't know who to contact or don't know what to do or things of that nature, that's what this podcast is for, and that's what, hey, I heard of you through a guy that knew you, you know what I mean? And I went to a class that was literally like a 45-minute class, and now here we are. It's led to friendships. I mean, we go on vacation together. We support each other's vision. We buy into each other's goals, and watching your son grow up. You're watching my sons grow up, my daughters, and my daughter gets married in December.
I took your daughter graduation photos for college.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
You were at my mother's funeral.
Yeah, I just popped up too.
Oh, that was wild.
I was a funeral crasher that day.
That was wild.
You had no clue I was coming.
Totally clueless. We were actually this morning, Sarah and I were just looking at pictures and stuff, and she showed me that picture. I was like, dang.
The one where you grabbed my butt cheek?
Yeah, well, I tried. I don't know what you call back there, but hey. But we had
Wait, hold on, don't wait.
You didn't have nothing back there, John. Let's be real.
Listen, all expensive cars' trunk is in the front.
I don't know, man. No.
Stumped him again. Yep.
That's genuine. That's our relationship. That's always like this, man. But again, if you're that person that's looking for help or need help, go back to help. Don't be afraid, man. Reach out, help. Whether it's church, your pastor, your friend, your parents, your whatever it is, man. Your wife. Wives play a valuable role in in our lives, man. And if you're not careful, you'll pick the wrong one. It's happened to me. It's the truth. I picked the wrong one. Shout out to Sarah. Ooh, I love my Sarah, bro, because Lord knows my life was hell.
Whew. But now you got Dave Ramsey Teeth. You got Vinny Enterprises.
Vinny's Enterprises, Vinny's Barbershop.
Vinny's Barbershop, and so much more, man. It's a lot that's in store. And,
There's a lot.
you know, from my perspective, man, I'm proud of you because I didn't only see your business growth, but I seen your personal growth.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, I did call you an asshole. Mm-hmm. I did call you all of those things.
Yes, you did.
But it wasn't out of.
Yeah, talked about dad's back. You talked about
your dad's back being blown, but it was all out of love.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if for me to see you wanting to be a better owner, better husband, better father,
yeah,
I had to tell you and cut it straight to you because you are the boss. So a lot of people are afraid to tell the boss how the boss act. But it's one thing to be afraid to tell the boss how they act, but it's another thing for the boss to be afraid of what they might say. Mm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so for me, it was like, nah, let's cut this shit, bro. Like, this is what it is. You're being an asshole, and let's work. Now we can get past this point. Let's get to it. And now the success is crazy. So before we can get out of here, I just wanted to give you those flowers, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You've come a long way. You've come a long way. You've been able to do a lot of things that most people, that everybody heard the different stories from you just now, wouldn't have been able to bounce back from. Yeah. Some people didn't get the opportunity of life. Some people didn't make it from Harvey. Some people didn't make it from them sniffing onions. You know what I mean? Like, you made it. You know, you fought through your mother's death. Mm. You know, I would call and check on you. Jess would call and check on you. But we would go through Sister Sarah, even though I had the direct line and I was probably one of the few people you answered.
Sure.
But to me, it was more. That's when my kids know the F word to me is not fuck, it's family.
Yeah.
So when I always mention, like, what does the F word mean? It's family. Because if we don't have internal family and external family, sometimes shit just don't go right. Yeah. Shit just don't go right. And I know we laugh and joke about your dad back being blown, but all of that's just out of fun and love. So with that being said, Vin, I want to thank you for sitting down and having this conversation with me. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. We got Cancun coming up. Yeah. But, it's more important that, once again, looking at that camera, it's more important to sit down and talk and not just hear people. But somebody got to listen. And if that nobody is the person that's going to listen, then damn it, here it is. So thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Nobody Listens. And hopefully you heard us and you listened to us.